And hey, welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. Thanks for tuning in. We are first starting things out looking at the sun in 304 angstroms. We've got some close-up views. We've got a big filamentary plasma situation going on in between the Earth and the sun right now. We'll show you in a minute. Some major filamentary activity in the northwest as well as some in the southeast. Really the whole eastern limb, featuring a whole bunch of filaments, that and much more. By the way, happy birthday to smAsh stAff. We're in geomagnetic unrest, and we're expecting to remain in electron storm territory. Let's go out to Lagrange point 5 to see what the view looks like from stereo A. And here's all that plasma I was telling you about. It's the Earth-facing region. It's yet to eject, and it certainly looks like it will eject. When will it eject? Well, it could rotate through, it could hang out, but I'm expecting a coronal mass ejection. I'm surprised it has stayed suspended there for as long as it has. Let's do some custom HelioViewer movies. Here is that active region just setting in the northwest, as well as some wonderful plasma rain there in ionized helium, 304 angstrom spectra. Fantastic view there. Allow me to vanish. There we go. Great view of that filamentary activity. Next we've got 171 angstroms, same area. And yep, that's not a spaceship either. Coronal hole trailing that area. You can still kind of see that. And lots more interesting stuff to discuss, such as shark jumpers. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux is at 72 now, having come up from 71. And we're in geomagnetic unrest right now, as we have an increased solar wind density. Last I checked, we nearly saw an X-ray flare here. Small little bit of X-ray increase here for a brief period around (12:20) Universal Time yesterday, midday yesterday Universal Time. No significant proton flux events. And we did see the solar wind density come all the way up to 22 there. 22 protons per cubic centimeter. Still slightly elevated here, around 13 protons per cubic centimeter. We just saw some major shifts in the BT-BZ also, but that has since returned back to, well, we still see a BT of 10, so that's a pretty beefed up BT, which is the total magnetic field strength. The BZ has just moved into positive at 3. Current solar wind speed ramped down over the past 24 to 329 kilometers a second. And so the geomagnetic unrest we see is caused by an increase in proton density. And this further ramps up the earthquake risk, as proton density seems to be more important than solar wind speed in terms of earthquake forecasting. So this is a further increase as we see a drought in 7, 8, and 9 magnitude earthquakes continue. Here are the ground-based magnetic perturbations. Now that we've showed you 4 hours of geospace from the space view, here is the globe view. And we see significant magnetism here over the North Poles, and yes, there are 2 of them, one over Siberia and one over Canada. And we see perturbations all the way all through the planet here in the middle of the oceans and the South Pole during this polar excursion. If you're not aware, it's somewhere down here south of Australia, well off of the Antarctican continent. We'll let that play through a second time. Let's look at some more data here. GOES magnetometers are looking very spiky. This is the GOES 16. And for you new viewers, the N's and M's are noon and midnight time for the GOES 16. Keep in mind, all that plasma between the sun and the earth have a tendency to block appropriate measurement of magnetism, as that plasma is forced to align and get heated up by the magnetic fields. Here's the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Now looking at the heliosphere once again. This data is based on magnetometers on Earth and stereo A and B, which are located here at Lagrange point 5 and Lagrange point 4. Solidly in the South Pole current sheet. And that activity that was out by stereo A looks like it subsided a bit. And you can see where that dense plasma was from the view of stereo A. It's right there. And you can see the way it's moving into the Earth-facing region. That's why it looks like it's building. It could erupt at any moment. Keep in mind the magnetic environment can suddenly change. Here's the line of sight field plot, which also shows you the B field in blue. Nothing to write home about there. And here's the coronal magnetic field plot, looking at just the sun's corona. And you can see those South Pole closed potential field force lines in pink. Let me just check the life of the stream. Shout out to Be Stoic. Thanks for leaving comments. And let's move on to the smAsh Lights. And welcome to another episode of the smAsh Lights. It's where we talk about whatever we want. And today there's going to be spooky things, so let's cue the spooky music. I'm scared. I'm spooked. What about you? I mean, there's all kinds of scary and spooky things going on. For instance, my forehead, now made in China. You may not know. It's made in China. China. I have a cheap plastic forehead. And let's get on to some stuff. We're going to talk cosmology for a quick moment. We do stream live to Twitch. Thanks to our followers over there. I'm surprised we don't see more. Twitch.tv/smAshomash. Please take a moment to press like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done so. Tell your friends, foes, science noobs, and science pros about our channel. We're constantly expanding the operation here and look for it to only grow in the year 2020. Some changes coming at the end of the year. We'll get into it later. We're also on BitChute, thanks to our subscribers over there. BitChute.com/smAshomash. And let's talk COVID, as it's very, very scary and very, very spooky. Scary and spooky and scary and spooky. It's COVID. I'm scared. I'm spooked. Just kidding, folks. The mainstream media has been jumping the shark on this. For example, Scientific American has jumped the shark and endorsed a political candidate for its first time in 175 years. Why? Because they're science hacks. That's why. Here's another science hack. Nature magazine. Yes, nature.com. The most trusted name in science is now a busted name in science. And once again, they've got a political story here. How Trump damaged science and why it could take decades to recover. Nature.com has damaged science. Forbes.com has damaged science, as Forbes is jumping the shark as well. Yes. Forbes magazine jumping the shark. And what the heck happened here? I missed my... Yeah, so Forbes magazine also jumping the shark, producing alarmist nonsense articles about COVID. Also, don't forget BuzzFeed News, always a classic. BuzzFeed News, jumping the shark. Anyway, let's talk about the main shark jumper here. The new shark jumper is Liz Plank. Let me read part of the article for you. This is at This is an opinion piece on NBCnews.com/think/opinion. Liz Plank, who's nearly illiterate, an award-winning nearly illiterate author, says Trump leaves hospital amid COVID treatment, revealing dangers of toxic masculinity. Yes. Downplaying the fact that you have the flu is inconsiderate in the workplace. Downplaying the fact that you have the coronavirus is unconscionable for America's leaders. Oh my God! Here at the Smash News Network, we would never downplay anything like that because it's very, very scary and spooky. And we want you to be scared and spooked as it's October, after all. Let's get some quotes from this brilliant article by Liz Plank. By the way, I don't think she's related to Max Planck. It's spelled differently. The strong man is sick due to mixed messages from President Donald Trump's doctors and staffers. We don't know exactly how sick he is, but we know he's sick, as if his protected health information is yours to know. After months of downplaying a disease that has killed more than 200,000 people in the U.S., Trump contracted COVID-19 and was airlifted to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center after exhibiting symptoms that were, quote, very concerning. Oh my God. They were very concerning for about 48 hours, and now he's back in the White House, by the way. He further triggered everybody by taking his mask off last night on the White House steps. Let's get back to the article. It's not like we weren't warned. In 2016, Trump aggressively painted himself as a supreme alpha male, bragging about the size of his buildings, his testosterone levels, and even, regrettably, his anatomy. Oh my God! He built himself up by portraying others as weak, suggesting that Ted Cruz was a pussy and that Jeb Bush was low energy. And Trump's treatment of women, speaking of pussies, really showcases the toxic mix of ego and dishonesty masculinity that has defined his adult life. Oh my God, it's toxic masculinity. As Liz Plank has written and reported on before, the president's narrow definition of masculinity has lethal repercussions. Just a few days ago, the president mocked former Vice President Joe Biden for wearing masks too often, even though the leader of the free world has been airlifted to a hospital. All right, now I'm jumping the shark. While Trump is the poster boy for this outdated view of masculinity, it's not unique to him. It's not even unique to America. The president follows in the footsteps of other chauvinistic male leaders who have misled their own people about the risks of the virus, only to end up contracting it, and the latest being Alexander Lukashenko, the Belarusian authoritarian leader who got COVID after claiming it, quote, could be cured with saunas and vodka, end quote. It's worth noting that so many of the world's most powerful COVID-19 deniers happen to be men. The truth is that both men and women fall ill. Well, thanks, Liz Plank. And they both need time to recover. In addition to pushing back when women are stereotyped as weaker, we also need to question the ideals of manhood that pressure men to hide or deny their illnesses. To save face, men get sick too. Really sick. Let's let them. Okay. Well, thank you very much. By the way, for our viewers, congratulations on surviving a global pandemic so far. I'm wearing a shirt commemorating it. I survived a global pandemic and all I got was this lousy shirt. It's got the Grim Reaper motif and it's got our website, smAsho.org, where we started on the forum talking about COVID on January 23rd. And I guess my toxic masculinity prompted me to say, it's not scary. It's not dangerous for healthy people. If you don't follow us on Twitter, make sure you check us out there, or you may not see epic posts like this. Here's our CO2 chart. How about making America not suck again? What about that? Perhaps pick up a Mansa shirt. There's a link to it on Twitter. Or what about All Things Matter? Yeah, were you aware that all things matter? Condensed matter matters. Also some interesting posts here, like this one from Ted Cruz. How about a Stalin quote? Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the vote decide everything. Here's a Peter Schiff quote. Here's a Dr. Simone Gold quote. Again, check us out. And this is the most hilarious thing of all. It's time to shut down the organ. So Trump trolled everybody. And
I just left
here's a
Walter
quote.
Reed Medical Center, and it's really something very special. The doctors, the nurses, the first responders.
Anyway, in the ultimate troll, Trump has tweeted, "Don't let COVID-19 dominate your lives." Dear viewers, don't let COVID-19 dominate your lives. And I don't even know what that's all about. I don't know how that even got there. And let's talk cosmology, because here at the smAsh News Network, we talk about cosmology. And so check this out. Do you follow us on Facebook? Here's a series of reasons why Don Scott's electric star model is more broken than Google's ethics. 1. We see zero evidence of cosmological scale Birkeland currents. 2. Liquid metallic hydrogen stars explain the electrical action on the surface of stars, as well as the electron availability apparent in objects like the sun. 3. Electric star models rely on a constant and stable electron flux input, which looks super cool in a lab and looks nothing like a star in space. 4. Condensed matter explains magnetic fields of stars. Electric plasma stars explains pretty light shows in a laboratory experiment. We do not see evidence of Markland convection at cosmological distances, and we do not see evidence of Birkeland currents at cosmological scales. Don Scott's electric star model describes nothing in cosmology. Condensed matter stars describe nearly all of it, based on actual observations. So if you don't follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/smAsho. Look for more posts coming. And by the way, the October free shirt giveaway still has not been designed. I've been slacking. I've been too busy, highly underpaid, and overworked. I can give you a hint, though. It's going to feature Deneb, part of the high-mass X-ray binary, the Wolf-Rayet star. Featured here is orbited by this object here, otherwise known as its little friend, which nobody really understands the nature of it, but it's orbiting this Wolf-Rayet star, which is about the size of Mars's orbit, with a periodicity of about 4.79 hours. If you want to read more about it, check out the smashomash.com/forum cosmology forum. And if you want to enter the October contest, just go set up a login and say sign me up. We'll be using a random quantum number generator to determine the winner, and that person will be getting a free shirt. And here ends another episode of the Smash Lights. We shortened it up today so we can get to more data. The electron flux is still at very high levels, as you can see here. Here's the 1-year graph, highest levels we've seen in over a year. We see little charging hazards here, mainly over the Caribbean and Mexico, Central America, Northern South America. The forecast is for this to be pretty level here over the next couple of days. And we did see the GOES 16 measure lower than alert threshold levels. Keep in mind it is midnight, just after midnight local time for the satellite. Expect this to go right back into significant storm levels. Here is a visualization of the total electron content. This shows you the electron flux for the entire air column all the way up to the thermosphere. And we see very, very large electron bands here, practically connecting here at nighttime. Very large bands of electrons, lots of electrons up there. Expect major GPS errors around the equator at noontime. Next, we're going to look at just one slice of it, the ionosphere layer. And here's just the ionosphere. Let's see if this is looking anomalous. I haven't had a chance to look at it. In our previous video, in the past month or so, we've started covering a full day of this instead of only 6 hours. Ionosphere looking a little bit anomalous there. A little bit heavily charged up on the sun side. And here's the latest image. That one coming in at 8:15 Universal Time. I like to use in-the-sky.org to make star charts. I face mine to the south because I'm currently facing the south. My sofa faces south also. I draw in the ecliptic, which is this orange line. If you're up before dawn, you may see the third brightest object, my favorite planet, Venus. And you might see Mars and the moon closer to the apex of the ecliptic from your spot. Here's where things are in the solar system. I used theplanetstoday.com for this little visualization. There's where things will be in a week. Again, happy birthday to smAsh stAff. Please join me in wishing her a happy birthday. Next, we're going to do volcanoes. And we're still seeing a 6, 7, 8, and 9 magnitude earthquake drought here, folks. To start things out, we see a deep quake at Kamchatka. It's a 4.5 at 100 kilometers depth. Here's a deep quake at Vanuatu. It's a 5.1 at 120 kilometers depth. And we're just scrolling up the list here. Again, it's an earthquake drought, folks. Looks like the largest of the past 24 was a 5.9 at Alaska in the Aleutian Island chain, pretty close to the mainland. Let's look at volcanoes. We see some new additions to the list here. So Klyuchevskoy has now produced some eruptive activity, once again on the Kamchatka Peninsula. So some lava effusion has happened, and there's some lava descending the slopes. Kikai, near Japan, has erupted. It's produced a 3,000-foot ash plume. Popocatépetl, no volcanic ash emissions observed there. Fuego exploding, flight level 150, 15,000 feet. Sangay exploding, flight level 210, 21,000 feet. Revenador exploding, producing a 14,000-foot ash plume. Continuous emissions from Sabancaya, no indication of the altitude of that. And Villarrica has exploded two more times here, and it's been producing a relatively small ash plume, about 1,300 feet above sea level. Here's a weather.gov chart, and we're going to show you the total precip forecast on tropical tidbits in a minute. Here are the jet streams of the eastern world. And here is the Jake Tapper anticyclone. You can see that clockwise rotation there, an indication of high pressure, an anticyclone there in the North Pacific. Here are the jets of the western world. And when you see jet streams blowing from east to west, that's backwards. Check out the extreme meridional jet stream flow in both hemispheres in the west. So here's the total precip forecast for the western Atlantic. And you can see they're forecasting about 8 inches of rain here in southern Louisiana. Keep in mind that's all the way out to Sunday, October 11th. And that's Tropical Storm Delta. There is the anticipated storm path of that. Keep in mind that's pretty far out. 3-day forecasts are much more accurate. Shout out to our African and European viewers. There are your water vapor maps. Shout out to our Far Eastern viewers and viewers from UNDA. There are your water vapor maps. Shout out to our American viewers, whether you're in South or North. There are your water vapor maps. Here are pressure cells, and you can see that Jake Tapper anticyclone there in the northern Pacific, kind of stagnant. We're advancing this into the GFS forecast. We'll pause this at about noon tomorrow. There's where we expect pressure cells to be. It looks like the Jake Tapper anticyclone will be breaking up. That's the Jake Tapper anticyclone. And here on the Daily Space Weather, we like to name anticyclones after CNN anchors. Next, we're at lightningmaps.org, where I like to go when I hear thunder. And we still see major lightning here over the Caribbean. Some breaking out west of Hawaii in the middle of the Pacific Ocean while we do the the live stream. And let me just check the life of the stream. Thanks for all the comments. Be stoic. Not sure about that stuff about dementia patients and non-dementia patients. I don't know why that would be a thing. Anyway, there's a lightning situation. Here's the lightning mapper. And you see lots of lightning there on the western edge of Tropical Storm Delta, as well as some very, very strong bursts of lightning here on the Yucatan. Check that out. That is a crazy lightning storm there. Next, taking a look at the U.S. Doppler radar map. There's the scenario for the U.S. Here's what's going on in the cloud layer, and let's go look at that area near the Yucatan Peninsula. It's the area of least resistance. And no, those are not gravity waves. Call Mr. MBB333 and tell him, look, oh my God, look, gravity waves. Just kidding, folks, that's not a thing. Gravity waves, it's not a thing. All right, and here's the zoom in on the water vapor map. Just give it a minute to load. There we go. Quite a turbulent environment there, as we've got a bunch of dry air mixed in, and that dry air is good for all of you folks who don't want to see too much rain, as that weakens these systems. And let's check out the area over my head for once, as I often know more about what's going on in space than the weather right outside my door. Now, I work in lab testing. I'm part of the administrative department who goes around and tests your food supply. And so I drive about 800 miles a week in order to administrate lab testing. And I've got some insight into the food supply. If anybody would like to talk about it, look me up. You can email me at smAshomash@gmail.com. All the links to all of our different ways to contact us are located at smAshomash.org. And it looks like it's going to warm up a little bit in Pennsylvania today. Thanks to our patrons, the true source of funding for the content. Please consider becoming a patron if you haven't already done so. It's patreon.com/smAshomash. We provide early warnings on various things. We tell folks about electron storms quicker than anybody. And yeah, we also provide various digital media and so on. We've got 9 tiers, and we're going to get rid of the 2 lowest tiers. If you do decide to become a patron, please consider joining at the $3 or higher level. We'll be getting rid of the $1 and $2 tiers at the end of the year. Those will be out of here due to things like inflation and massive underpayment and overworking. Thanks to the SMASH team. Please don't forget to share the content on your social media, etc. Don't forget to head to smAshomash.com/forum. Join the October contest if you like. It's more of a sweepstakes. You can also read about all kinds of cosmology stuff there. Check out our affiliate links. Check out our t-shirt supply. If you head to smAshomash.org, you'll be redirected to smAshomash.com. And you can find the links to all of our social media there on the right, as well as the forum, 2 different Teespring stores, and our affiliate link, smAshomash.com/affiliate. We've got a whole shopping list for you there. And today's featured item is once again the Misto. It's a brushed aluminum oil sprayer. You fill it about 2/3 or 1/2 with olive oil. You pump it up, and you can spray olive oil on your foods. It's a good time. We've had one for ages, and it is absolutely essential to our kitchen process. The Misto olive oil sprayer. There's also all kinds of things on there, like supplements and mustard and mixed gas and an air fryer and a mouse, personal protective equipment, electronics, etc., Even our UV wand, if you want to go around killing COVID, oh my God, just wave a UV wand in front of it and it'll just UVC that thing into non-existence. Again, smashamash.com/affiliate. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Please keep your head and arms inside the Smash plane at all times. We've got bonus features. It's a 48-hour video from the SDO of the sun. It's a colorized magnetogram and an intensitygram showing you 0 sunspots, I think. And there's the colorized magnetogram. No organized magnetic areas there. No dark sunspots. Here's 94 angstroms. Another good view of that active region setting. Pretty low levels of solar activity here on the solar disk. It looks like even maybe that activity in the southeast is not as powerful as it looked, according to the way the fields look. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink it. If you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back. Gitchy goo. Git tick 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 tick.